There are a lot of video tutorials on how to create a sword, and I thought I'd give it a shot, being a relative beginner, as I always say. So if you want to watch me model a sword, check this out. It's going to look a little bit different than this, but very similar. And what I wanted to do was a sword sticking into a piece of like the trunk of a tree. So, but a stylized thing. This would be like a model that you would have on your desk or something like that. All right, so it's not exactly a realistic thing. I'm not going for realism. I'm going for sort of like a bronze kind of metal statue type thing. Okay, so here we go. I'm in Blender now, and I've got the default scene, and I'm going to click on the camera and shift click on the light, and I'm going to hit X and delete, and assuming that you know the basic commands in Blender, how to move around and stuff. Note that my screencast keys are on, and I've got just the default cube here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit N to open the side panel right off the bat, and I'm going to get under display, uncheck the grid floor, get rid of that. I'll just bring my cube up a little bit, and I'm going to turn on, for shading, I'm going to choose matte cap, ambient occlusion, and I'm going to choose this shader here because it's going to make it look a little bit more like metal right off the bat, and it'll be kind of pleasing to watch. All right, and to close that, and so I've just got my default cube there. I'm going to hit 1 to go into front view, and 5 so I can look straight on it, the orthographic view. And I am going to go SZ to scale it in the Z direction, and I'm going to pull my mouse in like that to make it sort of nice and thin. All right, actually maybe I will bring it back down a little bit. Okay, I'm going to hit 7 to go into top view, and I'm going to start modeling here. I'm going to go into edit mode, object edit mode. I tend to hit the tab key to go into edit mode, so if you see me doing that, I'm going to deselect everything and zoom in with my mouse wheel a little bit. I'm going to go Control R and bring my mouse up to this sort of horizontal line up there, and I'm going to roll my mouse wheel up once to get 2 pink lines here, edge loops, and I left click to select that, and right click to finish that. And then I want to bring those edge loops, those lines, closer together, so they're, if they were deselected, I could just go into edge selection. You could do that down there, and I would hold Shift and Alt and click the line so that I get it all the way through. I don't want to just click that top part. I want to get it all selected. So the way to do it is Shift Alt and Shift Alt, both of those back in top view, and I'm going to scale them in the X a little bit closer together. I'm just pulling them together. Okay, so that's what I got so far. All right, so in top view, I'm going to go into wireframe view and switch to vertex, and that way I can just go B, box select, and drag out a rectangle and select these vertices, and it'll get the bottom ones as well by being in, since I'm in wireframe. I'm going to zoom out a little bit, and I'm just going to pull this up. I'm going to hold Shift, and it'll snap to these grids. I'm going to bring it to about there, and then zoom in a bit, and then I'm going to start extruding and scaling it in a little bit because it's that thick right now, and I can adjust that later. So I'm going to hit E to extrude, and I'm going to hold the Control key, and I think I'm going to come up maybe to there, and then I'm going to hit scale, and I might hold the Control as well, and it'll snap to the grids on the side as well, if that makes any sense. All right, E to extrude, I'll hold the Control key, and I'm going to come up to, maybe I'll come up to there. I'm going to scale it a little bit more. E to extrude, I'm going to come up, maybe not quite as far. Scale it like that. E to extrude, come up again, not quite as far. Scale it. We're getting down towards the point. E to extrude, smaller increments, scale it, and I think I'll try to go one more. E to extrude, just up to there, scale, and I'm going to bring it very close. I'm not necessarily going right to a point. This part's not even going to be seen anyhow, it'll be stuck in the log, but I mean, you can decide if you were just making a sword itself if you want it to go all the way in or not. scaling it to a point. So this is what I have so far, roughly blade-like. Okay, let's go back to solid view. All right, let's scale this in the Z just a little bit like that. That's the Z, and I'll go ahead over to the wrench icon there. Sorry, to the modifier stack and choose subdivision surface, and I'm going to go for 2. And I'm going to tab back into edit mode, and I'm going to come down. I'm going to put an edge loop right there. Just pull it down near the end. Let's have a look at this. Okay, so that's my blade. I'm going to scale it in the Z a little bit more, a little thinner. You can put on smoothing as well. Okay, so what I'll do now is I'll go back into edit mode, and I'm going to hover my mouse over right in the middle, and I'm going to go Control R and put one edge loop all the way down and accept that, and it'll be on both sides. And then I'm going to click that vertex. Okay, so I'm in vertex selection as opposed to edge or face. Vertex selection, I'm going to choose that point, and on the underside I'm also going to shift and click that point if I can get to it. There we go. All right, so I've got that point, and I'm going to pull it forward a little bit, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to create this thing here, but it's not going to look exactly the same as this. I'm going to have it go all the way up to the guard here, and so really the point I put in is going to be down here, so I want this to be rounded. So you'll see what I mean in just a minute. Okay, so now that I've got that point in, I'm going to go back into face selection. So you could do it there or just with the hotkeys like I did. Select that face and shift select that face, and on the underside do the same thing. All right, and I'm going to pull these in at the same time, the same amount. So I'm going to hit E to extrude, and I'm going to scale it in the Z, and it's going to pull them in that way. All right, but I'm just going to look at this view right here, and I'm going to hit E to extrude, and then this is the Z direction, so I'm going to hit SZ, and I'm going to start pulling. I'll hold the shift so I don't do it too much. Start pulling my mouse in. Let's do that. Now let's see how that did. All right, I've got a small indentation there. All right, let's see if that was enough. So now I'll go into edit mode, and I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to put an edge loop, Control R, and I'm going to pull it down to here. Just not right to the end, just like that, and that'll do it on the top and the bottom. Let's go back into object mode, and you can see I've got my indentation. Now if you want it more pronounced, one thing I could do is I could, in edge select mode, I could select that edge and this edge here. All right, and I do that on the bottom, this edge and this edge and this edge. I'm not going to worry about down here, and I could hit N and come up here to mean crease, and I could start pulling that up. I don't need it to go up too high. I'll try that. Hit N to close that, A to deselect, and back in object mode, and you can see it's a little more defined. Okay, now, so what I'm going to do now, let's see. I'm going to come back over here, and I'm going to go into vertex selection, and I am going to actually put one more edge loop, bring it down here, and I am going to make sure that this is straight. So I'm going to go SY0. So they're all in a straight line, all at Y equals 0. And then I'm going to select all of these vertices, and I'm doing Shift and Alt and trying to get them all. And I'm going to get all of these if I can. And I might have to have a couple passes at them. Let's see if I can get them all here. And I'm going to go X vertices, get rid of them all. See, I didn't get all of them, so I'm just going to shift and click these, all these vertices. Done. Back into edge selection, I now can select this, and I can bring this out further if I want to do that. Okay, so that's good enough for the moment. All right, so we can lengthen the blade, we can make it smaller, we can do all that, but let's go ahead and work on the guard. Okay, let's save. And I'm going to do a really simple guard. I might, in a future video, work on more complicated stuff, but for now I just want to have some fun with this. I'm going to select this point and go Shift S, cursor to select it. What that does is it moves the 3D cursor right in the middle of those 2 points. Okay, so essentially in the middle of this whole end. And that's important because when I bring in my next object, I want it to show up right here. And then I'm going to start modeling with that. So I'm going to deselect, go back into object mode. My 3D cursor stays there. And I'm going to go Shift A and bring in a cube. You see, and it ended up right there. So I can start modeling this right now. So I'm going to go scale in the Z, make it thinner, scale in the X, bring it out, and scale in the Y. I'm doing this in object mode, which maybe I shouldn't, but I'm doing it anyhow. Scale in the Y. It's not a big problem for this model. Okay, we'll start with that. I'm going to tab into edit mode, and I'm now going to add 1, 2, I want 2, and I want 3 edge loops. I'll try 3 edge loops, just like that, and maybe we'll go into edge selection, and I'll Shift Alt click that one and Shift Alt click that one. Maybe I'll scale in the X and pull, and that'll just pull them out just a little bit. And maybe I'll take this one, Shift Alt, and click the whole thing. And I'm going to scale in the Z, and that'll give a bit of a bump, a little bit of wider part there. I'll be adding a subdivision surface soon, so that'll probably mostly disappear. Let's go into face selection mode and grab that face and Shift Alt click that face, and I want to make them narrower. Okay, so I'm going to go scale in the Z, pull my mouse in, and both sides will be done at the same time, sort of like that. And that's mostly what I'm going to do with that piece, but we'll come back to object mode and then we'll apply a subdivision surface, and then I'll have to go back in and add edge loops to tighten it up. Subdivision surface of 2, let's say. Smoothing's fine, whether I put it on now or later. Let's view in top view. Okay, so let's put an edge loop. Let's do them at the same time. Let's put 2 of them and scale in the Y so we can get them equally out almost to the very end, like that. And then let's put 1 on this end and pull it out, and 1 on this end and pull it out. And it starts to sort of sharpen up, but still look nice. Let's see if we can put 1 in here and pull it up, not right to the very top, but just approaching that. And let's see how that's looking. And that's basically my guard for this model. Very simple. Okay, we'll see if I want to do any more work on that in a bit. I want my next object to come in right at the end of that. I want to do the handle or the grip. So I'm going to go into edit mode, and I'm going to choose a structure, a line, a face, whatever that's right in the middle. So when I bring my next object, it's going to come right in the middle. So this edge right here, if I just click on that, well, that's right in the middle. It's perfect. So I'm going to go Shift S, cursor to selected, and deselect and go back to object mode. So there's my 3D cursor waiting for the next object to come in. Okay, so I'm going to go Shift A, and I'm going to bring in a circle to create this handle. But before I do anything, I'm going to come over here and switch the vertices to 6. All right, I'm going to rotate X 90 so it's facing outwards, and I'm going to scale it down so it sort of fits right inside here, but I'm going to scale in the X as well. Make it something like that. Tab into edit mode and make sure it's selected, and then hit F to make a face there. Now I'm going to extrude this. So hit E to extrude and start pulling it down to make the handle. All right, just as far as you want. All right, now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create the part at the very end. So I'm going to go E to extrude one more time, pull it down to maybe about there, maybe a little bit more. All right, and then I go Control R, and I'm going to roll my mouse up. So I get 2 edge loops. I'm just going to accept the default position, deselect, and then in face selection mode, I'm going to select that whole row of polys. And the way you do that is you just hover over one of these lines between 2 polys and go Shift Alt. Now select them all the way around. I don't want to extrude. I just want to scale. I want to scale in the X direction and in the Z. I just don't want to scale lengthwise. So I'm going to go Scale, Shift, Y, and pull. and that's going to sort of round this out like that, a little bit like that. Okay, so have a look at that so far. Maybe a scale in the X so it's a little bit less square and a bit more circular. Let's actually scale this in the Z a little bit, just make it a bit bigger like that. Okay, so now if you like the boxy look, you could leave it like that, but I'm going to do more on this. So let's go back into edit mode. I'll go into top view, and I'm going to hover my mouse over here and Control R, and I'm going to roll my mouse wheel up a bunch of times. It doesn't matter how many you choose, how many you like. I'll do that. What have I got? Well, it says it at the very bottom. I've got 5 cuts. Okay, I'm going to accept that, but I'm going to leave those selected because I'm going to bevel, and I want to create those indents in the handle, and this is a great way of doing it. Just leave them selected and go Control B and pull back a little bit. You'll start to see in your little area, that blue area there. Don't make it too big, and then roll your mouse wheel up once and then accept and deselect. So the bevel put these 2 lines here, that one and that one, all right? And then I roll my mouse wheel up, and I got one more line in the middle of each of them. That is what I want to select. So I'm going to go Shift Alt, and I'm going to click on that edge loop, and it goes all the way around. Shift Alt, click that one, and that one, and that one, and that one. So I've got them all selected all the way around. All right, with these outer edge loops that sort of will give some support. You'll see what I mean. I'm going to scale these just like we scaled this end. I'm going to scale these, but I'm going to scale them inwards, but not in the Y direction. All right, so I'm going to go Scale, Shift Y, and this time I'm going to push my mouse up, and it's going to pull them in. Now don't go crazy, just go like, okay, I'm going to indent it to, let's try there. All right, you can always come back and do more. I'm going to deselect and come out. Now that gives you that sort of low poly cool look right there, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add subdivision surface to this of 2 for now, and I'll hit smoothing, and then I'll come over into edge mode again, and I'll put an edge loop at the very end just to sort of straighten that out. But I'm going to tuck this into the guard right there anyhow. Have a look at this. I'm kind of wishing I had an edge loop there. Well, we're going to do something about that. We're going to bring an edge loop in and slide it up to here. And I think I'll put one right here and slide it up to there. And I mean, you could maybe take all of these faces. Oops, maybe all of these. Maybe I'll try with both rows. And I could extrude them out. I could go E to extrude, Scale, Shift Y, and try to bring them out and see if you can get a bit of a ring around there. So it looks like this is all a big cap. All right, you can do that as a design note. You could add edge loops if you want. For this stuff, if you wanted sharper, we could try selecting both of those and see what the mean crease would do to that. All right, you can slide this up. Let's have a look at that. If you liked that look. All right, let's go back in and see what it looks like if we bring it all the way up. All the way up to 1. Yeah, I don't really like that. So what about 0.5? Should we do that for all of them? Let's have a look and see what that looks like. It's not bad. Okay. I think I'm going to pull this in a little bit more. Let's make it a bit shorter. Great. All right, let's look in top view and let's add the little gem, and then we'll decide about this blade if it's too big or whatever. Let's just select that and go Shift S cursor to select it, and I'm going to bring in a circle, and it's down there, so I'm going to pull it up, but it is in the right orientation, and it's 6 sides. Again, scale it down right to there. It's nicely centered. Okay, bring it closer to the surface, go into edit mode and F to make a face. Okay, now let's zoom right in on that. Let's hit E to extrude, and I'm going to pull it up a little bit. Then I'll hit E to extrude again, and I'll pull it up a bit more. I'm going to switch to vertex mode. It's not really necessary for my next step, and I'm going to go scale 0 and Alt M, merge in the center, and creating that little jewel-like thing. Push it down to the surface. Okay, it's just a kind of a way to make a jewel. I don't know, maybe I want to pull this up a bit more. I may also want to bevel these edges, so I'm going to go into edge select mode and Shift Alt click that entire edge, and then go Control B and pull back and roll my mouse up a few times, and that might just catch a bit more light on that. I don't know that it will, but okay, and just have this bedded like that. And I'm going to make a couple of smaller ones on the side, so I'm Shift D to duplicate it and just pull it out, S to scale it down, and rotate in the Z just to give it a different orientation. And then let's see if we can position this. Why don't I just zoom right in, Period key to do that. Okay, so this is curved, so I'm going to have to rotate this. I'm going to rotate in the Y a little bit. And if it moves too fast, just hold down Shift. You can get it to move slower. Looks pretty good. Okay, and what I'll do is I want another one on the exact same distance on the other side. So I'm going to select this one, Shift S cursor to select it, and now that that's sort of like in the middle of where I want the other one, I can mirror this one over. So I select it. Now that I've got my 3D cursor there, like my pivot point, select it, go add modifier, mirror, and then mirror object is going to be that jewel there, and it'll just put another one right across. And I don't know, I'm keeping the same orientation. Now I can apply that mirror, and with those both selected, all right, and Shift select that, I'm going to hold Control J, and now they're all joined as one object. And now I want to mirror these onto the back side as well, so I'm going to select this guard. All right, Shift S cursor, select it. Now go right into the middle of the guard so I can mirror across this. So select these jewels, go add mirror. It's going to be in the Z direction though, and it's with respect to this. And there are the jewels right there. Apply that so they're perfectly on the other side. Okay, now back to the sword, the blade. Let's look from side view. And let's scale this in the Z. Let's also scale it in the X. And then I just have to decide if this thing is bugging me a bit. Feeling like it's a little bit too thick. Just want my jewels to work. Scale this in the Y. Okay, bring the blade back in. The blade to be too long either. Let's make sure this handle is in. Yeah, it is. Okay, cool. So I mean, you could do lots of really cool design things on this, but I think I'm going to leave it at that for the actual sword itself. Although actually I think I want to scale this in the X a little bit more. It's a tiny bit rounder, not perfectly round, but not too boxy. Let's start applying these modifiers. This one, all the subdivision surfaces, and I'm going to attach the jewels to that, and though that should be all attached. Okay, and I'm going to attach the blade and the handle. Control J for everything, and it's it's not low poly, but it's not super high poly. Okay, cool. Now let's look at the front view. Or maybe the side view. And let's rotate this in the X. Rotate X 90 minus to get it to stand right up. And let's bring it up. And actually we can set the cursor to the center and origin of 3D cursor and geometry to origin if we wanted to get everything beautifully centered. Okay, so we'll just do that. Let's look at the front view. So there's my knife, sword, whatever it is, hovering in the sky. And so, you know, I could end it right there, but I want to do that tree stump thing. And so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring in a cylinder, Shift A, mesh, cylinder. Okay, I'm going to scale, just globally scale it. Scale it a bit more. And I'll bring it like that for the time being. There's front view. Now obviously the sword will go down further into that. So maybe we will scale this in the Z a bit more. Okay, just for now. Let's look at the side view 3, and I'm going to go into edit mode. While this is selected, I'm going to choose bisect over here under the mesh tools, and I'm going to just click and drag through and release, and that puts a cut all the way through. Maybe not on that angle exactly. Back to 3. Okay, let's bisect again, just not quite so crazy. Okay, that's done. Go into edge selection and Shift Alt and click those polys, and Shift click the top one and hit X, delete those faces. Into edge selection, I'm going to grab Shift Alt and grab that edge, and I hit E to extrude and scale, and I'm going to start pulling in. Let's go all the way like that. E to extrude, and I'm going to go scale 0, enter Alt M, merge at center. Okay, now I can then go Control R and roll my mouse up as many times as I want to create tree rings. Alright, so listen, I don't want to go too crazy because I'll have some work to do with this, but I'll do that. Okay, and accept, but don't lose the selection. Okay, so with them still selected, I'm going to do what I did on the handle before. Control B, pull back, just give it a little bit of width, like maybe that, not quite that. Shift, hold down Shift to go smaller, or in smaller increments. Oops, roll my mouse wheel up just once. There, done like that. Okay, deselect. Go back in, Shift Alt and click that. The middle line in all of these. Okay, that's good enough. I'm not going to bother with this, anything in the center. Now, because this is on a weird angle, I want to scale. But what am I going to scale? On the Y, the Z, the X, whatever. I'm going to use Alt S, which is like an alternate form of scaling. And then you just move your mouse up and down. You go Alt S, okay? And then you move your mouse up, down, left, right, and try to figure out which direction works for you. I want to pull those lines that are highlighted down into the tree stump. So I'm going to go Alt S, and I start moving my mouse and holding down Shift. Okay, so I push it up to go down. I just want to go down a little bit, just like that. I'm going to deselect for now, come out, and then I'm going to add subdivision surface on this of 2. And I may have to do some more. Let's put an edge loop down here first of all, just to tighten up that bottom. Let's also put one up here. Okay, let's have another look at those rings. I may Shift Alt and click that middle ring. I may want to pull them down more. Did I have one there? Yeah, I think so. Okay. So I'm going to Shift Alt and I'm going to push this like that. Okay, cool. There we go. Hold smooth and you get this. I might want them to look a little flatter, not so bubbly, so we'll go back into edit mode. And I mean, we can try selecting these, just select a few of them, and we can try that mean crease method. that's doing what we want it to do. And it's looking quite good. So let's go back into edit mode. You'll notice it changes color, so we can tell what we've done. I don't want to do the outer one. That looks pretty good to me. I might want to do something with this inside one. Yeah, this one here. Let's try just adding a mean crease like that. Yeah, okay, that's basically what I wanted to do. It's a stylized tree stump, all right, like I had said before. All right, let's do something about this base. Face selection. Let's select, no, not that. Scale Z 0. Let's make this go a little straighter down. Let's select that and Control plus to select that part. E, Scale Shift Z and bring it out. A bit more of a base and put another edge loop down here. Scale Z 0 as well. Just straighten it out. No, it's a little bit too thin. Yeah, it looks a little wimpy to me, so I'm going to select this. Sorry, all I'm going to do is put an edge loop right in here. Just like that. Okay. And then it's just a question of this. I really want the blade to go down further. I want it like that. And so I think I'm going to have to make this longer. And the way I'm going to do that is select this face, and I'm just going to come up a ways. And look at the side, and just pull it down. All right, so till the blade is no longer there. And there we go, like that kind of thing. And that's basically it. You know, I've got this, you know, this madcap on here, which makes it look a little bit like gold, a little bit like bronze. You could, of course, go through and put materials on, and you know, make the gems, you know, red and green and stuff like that, and leather-like material on here. But you know, I wasn't planning on doing that in this video. Might bring this up and just find an angle that looks okay, you know, and then just do an OpenGL render like that, and then save that. Sword and stump 2. And then try to find that. S. These are all different ones I've done before, some from the videos. Okay, sword and stump, there it is. Let's edit this with GIMP. It takes a while when I right click. All right. You know, in lieu of not putting real materials on, we could, you know, just crop it. Unsharp mask, maybe 1. And colors, we could add some red and some yellow. That, and curves, you know, you could do that kind of thing. I don't know, and I think I'll overwrite that. And then that's it. That's what we would have done. So